Hello, welcome to Woman. I hope this is working. How are we doing? It's Leslie here, women's health coach, outdoor fitness enthusiast, and ever so slightly overwhelmed mother of two. So I've been talking to lots of people about overwhelm and struggling to get back in the routine and general exhaustion, and struggling with concentration and focus even as we head into September. And there's always this feeling in September that, oh yeah, it'll be great, the kids will go back to school, or there's that fresh new term start and it will all be good, I'll get back to it. And actually it's a bit of a struggle for many people, and I wanted to talk very briefly about why that might be happening, and then give you 5 things to think about doing a little bit more of this week. So one of the reasons that this might be happening is to do with the fact that we've been living for 18 months through a global pandemic, and basically our kind of stress systems, our sympathetic nervous system has been switched on. We've been because of constantly shifting boundaries, changing rules, stress, fear of infection. Perhaps you know people who've been really poorly, or you have yourself. Situations arising with family members and not being able to help. And then dealing with homeschooling, dealing with lockdowns and all of the things that came up with that, a lack of connection to your usual activities, to your usual communities, to being able to see the people you normally see. It's all been quite stressful and tricky and different. And our brains have been a little bit in overwhelm trying to work out how to deal with all of that, how to make it better. How do we kind of keep ourselves safe and secure? It's been a bit tricky. So one of the things that we can do to help with that, I've kind of got crazy hair today, we can do with that is to let our bodies know that we're safe, and to nourish them in a number of ways that helps us on a deep level. So not just because we can talk ourselves into saying, well, I'm fine, the kids are back in school, I'm back at work, back to the normal routine. We can say these things to ourselves and it helps to a certain extent. But if you're not feeling it, then there are some actions that you can take that might help. And number 1 is to eat well. Again, there's this kind of, end of lockdown, end of the summer, I need to get back on it, lose some weight. And there's always plenty of diets and weight loss programs you can sign up to. And I have lots of opinions about lots of those, which I'm very happy to discuss in private. But my thing would be to nourish yourself first, to give your body the information it needs to know that it's safe. And that means giving it the right nutrients that feed your gut microbiome, so nutrients that support good bacteria, so plenty of fiber, vitamins, a range of vitamins and minerals that we get from our food, which means eating a variety of foods and a variety of fresh whole foods as well. Nothing wrong with a bit of chocolate cake every now and then, but giving our bodies the message, the nutrients that it wants and needs, generally are going to come from fresh fruit and veg, from whole grains, from good quality protein sources, whatever that means for you. And it gives you you need the energy to thrive. Our brains use a phenomenal amount of energy every day, just getting us through the day. When we're stressed, they use a little bit more. We need our brains to have that energy. And that's why when we're a bit stressed and overwhelmed, it's part of the reason why we will want more sugar, why we will crave things that give us a really high dose of energy. But so making sure that we're consistently eating well. So that means getting in your at least 5 different kinds of fruit and veg every day, because that's different information for our bodies. It's not just, so it's about feeding our gut, feeding our cells, feeding our brains. So good quality oils and sources of omega-3s, extra virgin olive oil, all of those things are information for our cells that says, yep, that's okay, we can do our stuff because we've got the right nutrients here. And I would really counsel against restricting calories and restricting food groups in order to lose weight, unless you have really good quality guidance on that. I think that seems to be a popular thing at the moment, which is about having a 1200 calorie diet, 1200 calories a day. I mean, our bodies, a toddler needs 1200 calories a day. A toddler probably needs more than 1200 calories a day. We're a lot bigger than a toddler. And you're going to feel depleted if you are not eating enough for your body. And it might help with weight loss. It might help with some things in the short term, but not necessarily in the long term. So just getting the right balance of food on your plate. And there's lots of resources in this group, I think, from nutritional therapists who have come in and to chat to us about what that actually means. So that number 2, so 1 is nourish yourself well. Also make it delicious. Try new recipes, and go to a farmer's market and see what takes your fancy. Look up recipes online. Pick things up in the supermarket. Number 2 is to hydrate yourself well, especially first thing in the morning. Overnight, our bodies use quite a lot of water, and it's flushing out and helping our bodies detoxify, using getting things through our guts, getting things through our kidneys, our liver. So having a good glass of water, a couple of glasses of water first thing in the morning helps with the end of that detoxification process that goes on overnight. It's going to help you feel a little bit clearer headed. Drink water before coffee or tea if you can. Lovely big glass of water. But hydration throughout the day can really help, particularly with that afternoon slump as well. So the third one is obviously my favourite, is exercise, and getting the right kind of exercise. So again, that kind of September, right, I've got to get back on it. I'm going to get back to workouts and high intensity workouts, or signing up to as many programs as you can online, or finding YouTube videos to do every day. It's all very well and good, but sometimes too much exercise can also mean that our bodies feel stress. Our bodies feel more stressed and more depleted as a result. So yes, we need that intensity. We need to be able to boost our metabolism. It boosts our lungs, our cardiovascular system. It also releases lots of happy hormones, so that's a good thing. But too long is not good, and too much is not good. So having a balance between high intensity exercise, strength training, getting the big muscles in the bodies working, our leg muscles, our glutes, our core, getting those big muscles working, really, really beneficial. As is something as simple as a walk. So getting out for a walk could be 10 to 15 minutes, could be an hour, and could be a couple of times a day, is a really good way of reducing cortisol, of getting rid of the stress hormones that are already circulating in our body, of calming us down, and can be really helpful, and it's really easy to do. No, you don't need to get changed. It doesn't need to be hard. I quite often will literally put a pair of tracksuit bottoms on really early in the morning over my pajamas and a hoodie and go out for a walk. Sometimes only 15 minutes. It's a lovely way of clearing the head and starting the day well. And it also leads to point number 4, which is to get outside in the morning. We get our biggest rise of cortisol happens first thing in the morning, and that's what it's meant to. It's meant to kind of get us out of bed and get us moving. The biggest cortisol being a stress hormone, which also drives up our blood pressure and has an impact on insulin levels as well. And so getting outside first thing in the morning helps send signals to our brain that we're safe, that we're outside, that it's all good. We're not hiding in a cave from saber-tooth tiger. And it can help to bring down those cortisol levels. It also helps with the release of hormones in our body. So it's a signal to our kind of our circadian rhythm, our body clock, that that the day is starting, that we are ready to get going. And actually getting outside first thing in the morning can help us to get the right sleep signals at the right time later on in the day. So getting outside in the morning can help both with stress levels, but also can help us with sleep, both of which are really crucial for helping us be safe and helping us to reduce that sense of overwhelm and stress that we may or may not be feeling right now. And the fifth thing I was going to talk about today, so I've got notes down there, is about connection, because there's so many other things I could mention, sleep being a big one. But to talk about connection, because I think that is part of what's been hard for us in the last 18 months. And we've started to reconnect with people over the summer months, which has been great, and into September. But that can also be overwhelming, because we as human beings, but particularly as women, are wired for connection. We're wired to connect. We literally have a driver. When we release stress hormones, cortisol, we also release oxytocin, which is a bonding hormone. So it's like a driver that says, right, I need to find somebody else to help me, right? So when we have been cut off from our community, we've been cut off from people around us in lockdown, perhaps we haven't seen the same groups of friends, perhaps we haven't had the same social activities, and we're a little bit less connected to our usual groups. We might have found other groups, and that might be great, might be better, in which case ignore this. But we also might find that there's too much connection. So you might find that actually when you're in big groups of people, that feels a bit overwhelming because we're not used to it. So we crave and want the connection, and yet at the same time it feels a bit much. And so finding your happy balance is really important. Finding those people who lift you up, who restore you by connecting with you, whether it is that it's a phone call or a conversation, whether it's a conversation over text messaging, whether it is that you arrange to meet people face to face. I certainly finding that I really enjoy smaller groups at the moment, and that could partly be aging as well, and having real conversations. So that was point number 5, was to connect as a way of driving down stress levels and really encouraging your own well-being. So the 5 points. Hi Delphine, I think you're nice to see see your little icon come up. But yeah, so the 5 points were to eat well, to nourish yourself well, to think about food and what you put on your plate as information that restores your body's sense of safety because it's got the information and the nutrients that it needs, to hydrate, to keep the energy levels up all day, to exercise and to find the right kinds of exercise that fit in with your day, and that a walk can be really good if you're feeling stressed, to get outside first thing in the morning, and to connect. 5 very simple things, and you probably knew all of this already, but how about you try and get those things into the week ahead? Okay. Well, thank you for being with me on this Monday lunchtime. So my intention is to turn up Monday lunchtime-ish to share some things that might be helpful for you in the week ahead. And I'll be here and on YouTube probably as well. So have a lovely morning, afternoon, Monday, and a really good week. And let me know how it is that you might apply some of these things to the week ahead. Bye.